Maddie.
And Amber.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And tonight we're going to be discussing the Crone.
Yes, because we're moving into that season of darkness at this time of year.
Right. Yes. And so in the neo-pagan traditions, the goddess actually ages with the change of seasons.
Right.
I believe Beltane is when she's like in the mother.
Yes.
A mother in that kind of like breeding time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
May Queen is, I think that's,
and then we get to Mabon, and that's when she's starting to show her age.
She's fully ripe with her harvest.
Right.
And yeah.
Right. I messed up though.
Yeah, no.
No, it's okay. We're good. We know what we're talking about, I promise.
Yes.
She's ripe. She's pregnant. Right. And then we get to Samhain, and she has her baby, and now she's aging, right? Yes. Correctly. And the closer we get to Yule, the older she gets. And not only the older she gets, but the wiser, right?
Right. Not only is it the time of darkness, it's a time of wisdom. We look to our crones, who are our wise, older goddesses or people in our community that can teach us the ways to survive the cold.
Right.
This is the hardest time of year for especially those of us of European descent. Winter was hard.
Oh, absolutely.
We had to learn to survive it.
Well, and
we had to look to the elders or the crones, because most of them were matriarchal societies. So we looked to the crones to guide us through, which is why the crone ages with the seasons, and we still, to this day, follow her.
Right. Well, and we also protected our crones as well. It was very important because these were the wise women of the community, of the villages. So maybe they weren't able to necessarily physically help during the winter season, but they had that knowledge and the wisdom, and they were extremely important. We wanted to keep the crone warm and safe.
Provided her with firewood and food.
Exactly. Which is how we honor
the community with the ways of the old.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's, as you were leading into, Maddie.
Which is how we honor the goddess, honestly, in her crone stage, which is with fires, because fires are very big this time of year because of the warmth, the needing of that light.
Right. And the use of your cauldron is very much honoring crones. Crones are known for their cauldron. That's right, good soup. Carradwood knows all about that.
Right.
She's known for her cauldron of transfiguration. That's why, even though she's not of that elderly stage in life, to my understanding of what I've read about Carradwood, she's thought of as a crone because she's able to manipulate so much, and she has so much power. And her cauldron of transfiguration has powerful potions.
Absolutely. And, Hecate is really the Hellenic version of Carradwood.
Does she have a cauldron as well?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. They're both goddesses of witchcraft, I believe, and herbalism.
Exactly. Yes.
They are almost an exact mirror. I think there's a few other.
Carradwood is also the goddess of poetry.
I think there's a few other little correspondences.
But they have a lot of similar hounds and
spiders, black cats, at least for Hecate.
I don't know.
Now dogs. For Hecate. Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. The hounds of Hecate. I just like the way it sounds.
Me too.
And that rhymes.
And those are really the most popular goddesses.
Yeah, as far as crones go.
I mean, there are a bunch of other ones.
There's a spirit known as the Kayich, but I don't know very much about that. Some people look to the Kayich as an actual goddess figure, but I was listening to a historian earlier today who was talking about the Kayich is really more of a spirit versus a goddess. So I need to learn more about that. I'm not sure, anybody who goes, well, we're missing the Kayich. Well, it's because I'm not positive she fits in with what we're talking about right now.
Now, is that the Russian one?
No, that is also a Celtic. It's Scottish, Irish.
Now, there is a Russian tradition, I can't think of, where they leave offering.
What you were mentioning earlier, I don't know for sure. So what Maddie told me earlier, you want to tell what you said, and then I'll tell what I think.
So I believe it's Russian. It's Russian. I don't think it's Slavic. It's in that Ukrainian, that type area. Yeah. And it's a woman who is winter, literally winter. I don't know if you classify her as a goddess. She's an old crone, and she comes through, and some people see her as bad and scary because she's old, and she brings with her winter, and therefore brings destruction. Yeah. And so what they would do is they would leave offering outside in forms of bonfires and foods and things like that, as a way to ask the crone
to pass by their house
yes,
without affecting them with illness from the winter cold storms that ruin their food that they have stored from the summer's harvests. And now, in not just Russian, but also Polish, many Slavic practices in the springtime, they burn the Marzana doll, and that's Marzanna. And Marzana is burned to get rid of the death and decay of the wintertime. So I'm not sure if it's the same legend or not. So I do want to look more into that, because
I can't think of I can't think of like the name at all. I watched a YouTube video documentary thing on it, and I thought it was so interesting.
You know, with my Slavic heritage, specifically Russian and Polish, I will definitely be looking into this Russian
because she
winter
has little fairies, and it's really, which is why I'm like, I know it's European, because fairies, for the most part, I believe, are European. Well, there's fairies all over the world, but the ones I'm referring
different
to,
names as well, and they're referred to differently. But traditionally, if you use the word fairy, you bring up that Celtic thought, even if you don't mean Celtic. Like that's what comes to mind. Is, you know that. But you know,
or Scottish,
Scottish,
real,
Irish,
like Welsh,
all those good old Gaelic, Celtic peoples from before our modern time.
Right. Well, anyway,
so what do you all think about the Crone? Do you follow any specific deity that you feel has Crone like tendencies, or is considered a crone in that pantheon? Let us know. We are wanting to find more content for you. We will be doing plenty of more research. Right now we're kind of talking about the things we know a little bit more about as we work our way into giving you really in-depth, amazing podcast episodes. These are just little snippets.
Little sneak peek contents of our coming podcast. Now, if you haven't already, please follow us on Twitter at Classiest Witches.
Yes, and Instagram, Witches Talking Tarot. We
are also on Patreon. Please check us out on Patreon, because our Patreons are going to go to help funding our podcast, which is really exciting.
These amazing videos that last like not 10 minutes, not 12 minutes, but like over an hour. Really in depth. We get to talk more. If you like this, check out our Patreon.
Plus, you get really cool prizes and content. For example, behind the scenes content of us currently making our YouTube videos, and eventually us making our podcast.
Branded merch.
Yes, branded merch. We've got stickers, and right now we have keychains with the Witches Talking Tarot logo on them, as well as monthly horoscopes and other awesome things.
Yes, and all of the podcast is launched, there'll be even more extra content. So help us get there.
All of the links are going to be down in the description.
Yes. So before you leave, go ahead, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.